Believe it or not, here on a Monday, and it's been an active one. Lots of things going down. One of those things was the stock market taking about a point and a half off today as the markets. I believe really what's going on. You've got the instability, or I guess the uncertainty over the Iranian situation, which could affect fuel prices around the world, and of course the tariff ruling on Friday. The market has to have time to price in the president's changing tariff strategy. By the way, he didn't have to get rid of the tariffs; they just had to use a different application of law, which was actually in the ruling. A lot of folks went off and read the headlines, and the panicans hit the panic button, and the Democrats tried to co-opt it, but then realized they came up snake eyes because the Trump team was ready, and they've got other provisions of the law to keep the tariffs going, but the markets want to figure that out. I give you the market report just to tell you, Danny and his team, that's why their strategies are steady, Freddy strategies. They don't do this stuff where they panic when a normal person would, or people that are emotional over their own money. They have an investment course that looks at the whole trends and history of the market itself and then the individual stocks, and they invest on that, on the averages, on the trend line, and that gives you a steadier return despite volatility, despite big up days and big down days. That's a smarter way to do it. I wouldn't even know how to start, but Danny Knowles and his team do. That's what they do. It's the Knowles Group, Noles, the KnowlesGroup.com, the KnowlesGroup.com. Y'all reach out to him and let Danny and his team sit down with you. Look, I say it every time because I mean it. He's a lifelong friend. We graduated high school together and grew up together, and I just know he's going to shoot straight with you. He's going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, just to get your business. He just wants you to get sound advice, no matter where you are. If you are already sitting on your investments, or you are just starting over or starting out, and I think sometimes they love stories like that because they can help somebody from the beginning really get on track, and that's got to be rewarding for everybody over at the Knowles Group. It's the KnowlesGroup.com. Okay, let's get it going. We'll start from the very top, then we got time to get back into the crazy stuff that's in the news today. First up, we're under a red flag warning, probably through probably until we get some rain. We've got high winds tonight, and we've had high winds, and we got low humidity conditions. So red flag just means they are advising no burning from Birmingham all the way the rest of the way through Alabama south. So pretty much Birmingham, if you did 2059, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham over to Anderson, and everything south of that, it's just inclement conditions for any kind of outside burning. Things can spiral out of control very, very quickly. So I've been trying to make a point to let y'all know that at the top of each hour. Some of the bigger stories today, of course, the U.S. men's hockey team home landed in Miami today. They will be at State of the Union tomorrow night after winning the gold and impressing people. We spent a lot of time talking about this at the beginning of the show. 46 years to the day of the Miracle on Ice story. And even though I sat and watched that game as a kid live and couldn't believe we beat the Soviets, AJ, I've never seen the movie. I have not watched that movie.
You never seen Miracle on Ice?
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I have not seen it.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
I may be looking for some dude flicks for this weekend. Maybe I'll be I'll pull that one out. Watch all the movies. I'll watch Cool Runnings. Watch all the cool Olympic movies.
I like you said dude flicks, because I'm assuming you've been watching nothing but chick flicks.
Some of the stuff I have.
Rom-coms.
Well, Tehran's kind of a little. It's got a lead
It's a little
female
pure.
character, but it's not chicky.
Yeah.
It's not chicky. But I have watched some very sensitive BBC type stuff. Yeah. I'm a little bit of an Anglophile when it comes to movies and production. These guys make smart stuff. Don't get me started. It also keeps me off Netflix,
Right.
which sucks. Okay, what are we doing? Let's go to Mexico, shall we? No, let's not. Everybody that was down there as of yesterday is stuck. State Department putting out warnings to Americans to shelter in place. Some Americans may have been abducted by the drug cartels. This is all after one of the cartel leaders, El Muncho, what was his name?
Mincho.
You remember those little potato chip snacks called Munchos?
Mhm.
They weren't real potato chips. It's kind of powdered. Sometimes I crave those things. It's a good old gas station road treat. They're like eating a bag of air. There's nothing in them. So I'm going to call this guy El Muncho. So a special team, a military team, of course, with the guidance of American Special Forces, which were voted into the country a couple of weeks ago. They voted to let the Americans help. We gave them the right training. They went in and took out El Muncho, and all hell has broken loose. This is a good thing. Let me explain why. We want the cartels to fight each other. We want to destroy them and stop their business. The Trump administration is going directly at them, and this is better than a military invasion of our own. Let the Mexicans handle their own business with our support. You cut off the leadership head, and then this stuff happens. You don't want to see Americans trapped there. I wish that the State Department had been able to give evacuation orders in a timely manner, but that might have given up the operation. But so now you got a lot of people. Flights were canceled in and out. Car fires, fuel tanker fires, streets being blocked, and thousands of Americans. It's not even known at this point how many are in Mexico right now, wishing they could go home. Now, some people believe they're fine at the resorts, but we do get some reports that some Americans have gotten caught up in this stuff. Largely, the battles have been between these cartel revenge people and the local police and some of the federal guard that are out there running around. But y'all, they're using battlefield tactics. They're employing IEDs at their guard positions that are going up and down the road. And we went through a lot of this earlier in the show. But this has to happen if you're going to meaningfully stop the control of the drug cartels over the Mexican government. And by the way, their president is a drug cartel plant. This Scheinbaum lady is there because of the cartel. She is sold out to them, compromised by them. Eventually, I hope she is taken out. I'm not calling for the end of her life. I'm saying she should not be in that position, and maybe the Mexicans can remove her and get a decent leader. But they're going to need some support. I don't think it's an invasion prospect for us right now. We got our hands full, sort of boxing in Iran at the moment. But the prospects for freedom of the Mexican people have never been higher. If they can get the stranglehold of the cartels off their government, I'm not naive. I think they'll keep trying to come back in different iterations. But it's important that they at least be confronted. We're the only country in the world can do it, and we have a huge interest in it. This El Muncho killed a bunch of people here in the United States alone. He's ordered hits. His name is Mencho, but I'm calling him Muncho for fun. But Mencho, he's got a formal name. That's his. You know how they call El Jefe. They got these names for people. Um, so he's directly responsible for blood in the streets here in the United States. And by the way, a point to reiterate that I talked about at the beginning of the show. These are the same people. I found out today that the hit on the bond officer that went out to get this to serve a warrant in Blount County last week, where there's this minimal little $10,000 reward that's been put up. I don't know that the story was buried in Blount County or not, but that was according to sources I have and have heard speak about it. That was a cartel member. He shot up this Bond guy at 73 years old, shot him up multiple times, and is now fled. He's got his AR. He's on the run. Crazy story. Y'all, that's who is connected to these same people that are doing the destruction in Mexico are here. They've been here. They were let in here, and the Trump administration is trying to remove them. What you're seeing, the horrifying scenes you're seeing on your TV screens, are the same people that are running the streets here in Alabama and all over the country that have been here for years and have set up shop. They're doing business. They don't want to be removed. They don't want to have to go home, but they're taking orders from the same people that are giving the orders for these car fires and these IEDs and everything else that's happening down there. And honestly, they have that capability here if they wanted to. I don't think they would last long. I was watching some of the video of their tactics, the way they move, when they're shooting back and when they're having these gun battles, and they're total amateurs. They're massively outfitted with military style grade weapons, armaments. Some of them do have high training. And by the way, when we speak about cartels and sort of Mexican gangs, I think it evokes images of American gangs, which are largely untrained street thugs and opportunistic, violent, and just emotionally driven and come to terrible endings all over the country all the time, every weekend, all over the country. These people are not very sophisticated in their fighting techniques. Some of the Mexican cartel members, and this is true in El Salvador and Venezuela as well, come from the military. They have very much elite training. Some of them know what they're doing. Some of them could put up a fight. Not a lot of them. Some of them look so amateurish. I think a little truckload of good old boys from Alabama could take them out
Well,
in
I
about
think that's
5
what happened
minutes.
with this cartel leader who was taken out. He actually did some. He came to the United States, did some work here, and then when
Yeah.
he ended up getting caught with trafficking and all that stuff, and was then ended up back in Mexico, and was a police officer for a little while before doing this whole thing with the cartel, and moving his way up, and then he got married. His wife's family was the kind of like the financier of the organization, so handling all the money and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, he was part of he was part of the police in that little town before he became who he was, and then getting taken out.
It's crazy, man. They're so fully integrated into that government that you're not going to get that government to clean up their own country. So there needs to be outside pressure. We're the only country in the world to do it. And again, we should have done this decades ago. We should have never let it grow to the point where they've got that much influence down there or here. And let me say this, and I firmly believe this. I have no proof, but I firmly believe this based on what I've understood and studied about their money laundering operations into. We've got front businesses all over this country that have had massive infusions of cartel money because they have to launder it. It's the other half of their problem. And the best way to do that is through front companies that look like hedge funds or investment groups that are getting their money straight out of Mexico. In fact, that's one of the plot lines in that TV show Landman on Paramount. I don't want to give it away if you watch the show or haven't watched it, but that's reality for the United States. And hear me clearly on this. I'm 100% convinced that cartel money has made it into American political campaigns and coffers. It's why we've been so dysfunctional from both parties to fix this issue. We've got people, the Democrats have their own motivation. They think they're importing a whole block vote, which is why if you watch what they did, the globalists in their party moved away from just letting people from Mexico come across to letting people from the world come across because that model wasn't really working for them as well. Those people would get here, set up shop, want to really become Americans. They've got conservative values with their Catholic faith, and they're not going to go along with your transgender agenda, and they work hard. And that kind of import, illegal or not, was not working for the Democrats. They were splitting their votes. Then they just started grabbing people from all over the world. You don't walk here from Somalia. You got to get on a plane. Our government brought them here. They were creating a whole new dependent class in this country, which is still here, but needs to be sent home. As for the cartels, they had a reason to play ball. They were setting up shop and creating a retail front for their wholesale operation and their logistics company. They're like a big trucking company in Mexico. They move product from A to B, and then they integrated it into the United States. And then eventually they took on street gangs here and started having their own front operations to actually sell the drugs, the fentanyl included. And so you're taking on a giant money making machine, and those people to get protection here, I believe, have done the same thing they've done in Mexico, and that is pay off the politicians to look the other way. And it's too easy to do. I mean, we already do it legally. We have legal bribery in our system right now. It's called PAC contributions and campaign contributions. It is 100% legal to bribe a politician that way. You just call it a campaign donation or buy one of their stupid books that they got their face on that they didn't write. Or hired their spouse or hired their children. There are a million ways for these, or give them, for example, you're Nancy Pelosi, your spouse just happens to be a prolific stock trader, and you've got access to all the inside information. It's crooked as hell. And so why would the cartels not bribe our politicians? They'd be stupid not to. And then along comes the orange man from outside that system who didn't run on their money to begin with and has never been accepted by the establishment in either party. As example, by this upcoming vote on the SAVE Act. You got establishment candidates in the Republican Party that still won't bring that to the floor and don't want it to pass. I believe they've been bought. And this action to disrupt that flow in Mexico and in Venezuela simultaneously is going to affect some American politicians as well. I know that. I can't prove it. It's like the great Denzel Washington said in the movie Training Day. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Isn't that a badass movie?
Let me some Training Day.
He is genius. All right. Okay. Okay. I'm going to Jimmy and Maria. You guys hang on. If I go to you now, you're not going to get much time. So let me get this break in. I'll give you some time. Ox Foundation Solutions bringing you the show tonight. Oxstrong.com. Oxstrong.com. I do appreciate them so much over the years being able to help people with crazy issues with their foundations, some of which are obvious, some of which may catch you by the boo boo, or may just be so subtle and then it becomes radically obvious. In other words, you see a crack in the wall, you don't know where that came from. Next thing you know, you got water in the basement. Let Ox get ahead of that, as especially as we change seasons. The encapsulation that they do can protect your home when the moisture comes back, when the humidity comes back, and of course, it's a thermal barrier all times of the year. Cold snaps like this keeps that cold air away from the inside of your house and your infrastructure. All of it makes sense. Water removal, fixing cracks, leveling your house, any of it. Encapsulation, mold removal and treatment, they do all of it. Fully integrated company and the best in the business, oxstrong.com, oxstrong.com. Man, if you got an old janky bathtub in your house, get that thing replaced with Alabama Bass. They'll come in and in 2 days change everything for you. Either swap out the bath or, better yet, if you need better access and a safer setup, A lot of people do. You age into that, or you're going through some things in life, or maybe you just live alone. You don't want to fall in there or need help getting a shower. They've got shower systems that can take out that old bathtub all the way to the studs. At Alabama Bass, they'll come in and put a new system in, customized for your space with better ergonomics, better plumbing fixtures, a slip-proof surfaces, shelving where shelving ought to be, handles where handles ought to be. This is how you do it. It's Alabama Bass. The whole team there, again, 2 generations, local business. They were down at the home show. John sent me a picture of one of our listeners. I appreciated it too. I was at a gas pump filling up some diesel, and he sent me this picture of one of the listeners that came down to the home show and said they were from the show, and I think bought some a bath unit from them. Y'all, it's a great company. Been around for 40 plus years, and they will get this fixed for you in 2 days. Their prices are better than the competition, and there's no pressure from them. It's alabamabass.com, alabamabass.com. All right, let's go to Jimmy the Greek. What's up, Jimmy?
Hey, Leland. Glad to hear your voice again back on the radio.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, April Marie did a good job. I was proud of her.
She's good.
She tried to convert us to Catholicism. I'm not quite ready to go that far with her yet, but
Okay.
she gave her best. You know, she had her ashes on for Ash Wednesday and talked all about it and about Lent and, you know, giving up something and all that good stuff. So kudos to her. She did a better job, to be honest, than I thought she's done in the past. She's getting back in the groove with it.
Yeah.
That being said, she doesn't talk about the sponsors like you do. And I got to tell you, I called in Friday when John Bird was there and said, you know, I'm up here shooting my guns that I bought at Hewtown Pond, driving around in a car that my daughter bought at Birmingham, broke her, you know, and selling some silver that I bought from Alabama Gold Refinery. So I have some pocket change because I'm headed to Mexico next week. And,
Oh, look out.
I'm looking for
Enjoy your trip. Where are you going?
Oaxaca. It's a
How are you going to get there?
southern state. Oh, I'll be flying out of Dallas Fort Worth.
All the flights are
actually-
canceled.
What's that?
They canceled today. I don't know how long it's going to last, but they've canceled all the American and Canadian flights into Mexico.
Yeah, I'm thinking it'll open up for a window. Don't worry, I'll be in touch with the State Department. And, they'll get
yeah.
my feedback
I would do
down
that.
there too. Yeah, and definitely. So, good part of it is I'm going down there with a guy who's dual citizen, U.S. Mexican, grew up here, but he's got 2 passports, and he's going to be picking me up at the airport, and he speaks fluently. And then we're going to hook up with another guy, and I'll feel relatively comfortable traveling around with guys who've got Mexican citizenship. I don't speak Spanish like they do. They're perfectly fluent in Spanish and English, but
Yep.
I'll be in good company. And, you know, we'll give a heads up to the State Department on what we see. They've been doing that for years. But I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. You know, it's fun to go when it's kind of, you know, I would say in a state of flux where they're trying to figure out how to take on these drug lords. They got to do something.
It'd be electric
I'm so glad
times to
you
be
guys
down
got
there for
this
sure.
call.
Jimmy, I appreciate the call, man. Let me get Maria in here before the bottom. I appreciate all the updates. And, man, be safe. Give us an update. Maria, what you got tonight?
Well, he'd mentioned it on your traffic, but the accident on 65 southbound is just before 31 in Hoover. The right lane is blocked. Police, ASAP, and a tow truck on the scene.
Yikes.
So hopefully it'll be, but it's backed up way past Oxmoor. Stop traffic.
65 southbound. So y'all look out for that. That's all the way back to where we are right here. That's a long backup. I got to look that up on the maps. That's a good heads up, Maria.
Thanks. Bye.
There's Maria tonight doing her thing. She's got more traffic than the traffic people. What's that guy's name?
Oh gosh,
Tumbleweed. He goes by Tumbleweed.
Yes, Philip Tumbleweed.
What's his name? I forget our traffic guy's name.
Oh, that was Philip, but it could be wrong.
Why am I even stumped on that? New York Post just moved a story that says that the Trump administration got Mexico to hand over 100 cartel leaders before they jumped in and helped the Mexican forces get El Muncho's brother. You know, it's the Jalisco cartel, but they got El Muncho's brother, and then they got handed over, and 100 other leaders, and then they went and got El Muncho. That's pretty slick. It's on. You're taking the head off the snake. The rest of them will just be fighting with each other for control inside the cartels and between the cartels, and that chaos could give us an opportunity to relieve their stranglehold on that country. I hope it plays out that way, and I hope no further Americans get hurt in this mess. All right, we'll do the bottom of the hour. We'll come back and keep going. Y'all stay tuned. Lead on Live. All right, it's 5:34. Let's talk to Thomas over at Stockton Mortgage as we get cranked up. Thomas, I was getting screaming headlines today, and it hasn't probably cycled through all your paperwork yet, but CNBC quoted as interest rates on average dip below 6% for today.
Yes, sir, man. Man, rates are fantastic, which is, for the buying season right now, spring's right around the corner. Right around the corner, man, it is great. And we have seen an uptick in applications where people are out with, especially this past weekend when we had beautiful weather, people are out looking and looking at homes. So yeah, we have seen those lower interest rates. People are out and about looking for houses, and man, we are super excited and we're ready to help. Yeah, we have. Rates for us have gone down. We have been seeing them slowly trickle down, and hopefully we see them continue move in that direction as we move throughout the spring and summer. Man, it's always welcome, especially where we've been in the past couple of years. Every little bit helps, as they say. So if we keep going in this direction, every tenth of a point, eighth of a point, man, it helps tremendously.
And it starts to make you calculate if you were sitting on a good, original home loan, but you've been calculating doing another loan or something. Now it starts to make sense. The margin between the old rates and the new rates is getting closer. It may be time to go ahead and pull the trigger on that.
Absolutely. And if you've been waiting, that's something else that it does. Or if you've had, if you've been waiting to refinance, maybe if you said, maybe I've got a 5% interest rate, or I've got a 4.5% interest rate, and I've got some high interest rate credit cards that I really didn't want to, refinance my house, or I didn't want to pull some equity out of my house because I've got a little bit lower interest rate, but now I can get. Now the interest rates are closer to what I have, and maybe it's not such a far-fetched idea for me to refinance. Maybe at least I can have a conversation to see what I can do. So, that's the rates now are getting in that neighborhood where, man, it's great, especially when you got those interest rates on those credit cards staring you in your face every month. It's 25, 26% compared to a 6% interest rate or below. That's much better than a 25% interest rate on a credit card for sure.
Absolutely.
And man, we've been helping lots of people with consolidation loans, or also a lot of people have been pulling money out with lower interest rates, doing renovations on their home. Especially in the past couple of years when the home supply has been lower. That has stabilized a little bit recently, thank goodness. But a lot of people in the past couple of years when the home supply was so low, people have pulled money out to do renovations on their home where they're just staying in their home and adding on or whatever. And we've been doing a lot of renovation loans, which is great. It's a great product. But anyway, man, I don't want to keep you, but hey, as always, 205-859-8859 or savewithstockton.com. We're always willing to help. I'm always available.
Good stuff. Savewithstockton.com.
Yes, sir,
thank you, Thomas. Appreciate it, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Here's some irony. I've talked about a couple of stories, especially this hour. One was the red flag warning from Birmingham South because the wind and the dry conditions. Y'all just don't burn anything. And I've also talked about the Mexican situation and the drug cartels. And then my buddy reached out, and they live much south of town, and said, hey, that's kind of ironic because I was just riding home, and our illegal immigrant neighbors out in the country have a fire going right now in their backyard. I was like, maybe they need a roja. What's the word for flag? Bandera. Roja bandera. They don't understand red flag. Don't burn it down. Anyhow, I just thought that was ironic. One other little short, I don't have a whole lot to say about this, but I'm looking for fresh stuff all the time. And Bradley Bozeman, he's former Alabama center. I know him through his family. I grew up with his dad and his aunt. His aunt graduated high school with me and Danny. We just all saw each other at our class reunion, but many of you followed his career. He is retiring from the NFL. AJ, if it wasn't bad enough that on my birthday I got reminded repeatedly how old I am now,
Mm-hmm.
I am now old enough that my friends from high school have had children that have grown up and completed their careers in the NFL. What? He played for the Panthers, the Chargers, and I can't remember the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
I may have those teams wrong. Anyway, I've always kept up with the young man. Here's what was neat about him. He and his wife, instead of blowing all his NFL money, he didn't go buy a Lambo and a bunch of gold chains and, get in a fight with the cops. And he just saved his money. And he and his wife would live in a basically a RV during the season wherever they had to be, but then they'd go home. They've invested wisely. And this dude did it the smart way. He knew that career's what is the average NFL career now? 7 years. So he played it absolutely correctly. And I know he was a big part of Alabama's big teams too when he was in college ball. But anyway, that story came across. I haven't gotten this in there yet, and I told April Marie she had sent me this, but I was already discussing this actually with Jessica. She and I were going back and forth about the merits of this. This is a fascinating story in a lot of ways. April Marie in 1819, you can go read it for yourself. The headline is Hoover High School students vote to keep trans-identifying male out of beauty pageant, honoring 61 years of tradition. So the way the story goes, if I understand it right, they have something, Hoover High School has something called the Hoover High School Beauty Walk. Every school has a school beauty contest, and it's sponsored by the senior class and the SGA. And this year, a boy who identifies as a girl, this is April Marie's writing here, attempted to participate but was denied entry, and that sparked outrage among some that were his supporters. On Saturday, 105 girls in the school's senior class participated in the event at the Alabama Theater. They wore ball gowns, were escorted by young men in tuxedos, and then they crowned Miss Senior Class 2026. And they had a congeniality prize, as these things often do. And it was emceed by Emma Terry and our friend James Spann. School administrators allowed the SGA to vote on whether the boy could compete. And in it says here, unanimous vote, the students decided to keep the event strictly for young women, as evidenced by the use of the title Miss in the award, based on the normal presentation. The decision has upset some who felt the school administrator should have allowed the boy to participate. The young man is a transgender student who lives and presents full-time as a young woman, according to the quote. The school has consistently recognized and respected this in other areas, including allowing this person to perform in guard, wearing female uniforms. I guess that's in the flag or whatever with the band. And the young man completed registration paperwork and entry fee, attempted to sign up as a senior, and was told, it says she, but he could not participate in the pageant and is limited to biological females. Blah, blah, blah. Jessica had an interesting point. Why didn't the administrators just make the decision instead of putting it for a student vote? And now this kid already got clearly challenged with some issues is now going to know that his peers said, But I don't have any problem with it. She and I disagree. I just don't have any problem with it. And don't forget, we had the What is a Woman Act that was just signed into law just last year, about a year ago, that defines in state-sponsored events that they have to be of people's biological origin. And I don't know if they consider beauty contests as part of that. But anyway, that it's met with some controversy for different reasons. It's not even arguing over whether somebody can or should be transgender. It's how should have administrators of the school, how should they have handled this? Giving the students a vote, was that a better idea or no? Okay. All right. Well, we'll April Marie, of course, doing a lot of enterprising work along with her colleagues at 1819. By the way, they got a shout out. It's a long backstory, but I met a young couple this weekend down in the Auburn area that were very much in the forefront of there was a transgender teacher putting a lot of propaganda on kids in the public school down there. And 1819 did a lot of stories covering that where other outlets would not cover it. And but one of the advocates in that case the subject just came up. They were talking about the politics of the day and activism, and we were both in because of our relationship with 1819, and of course them knowing that they needed coverage of what they were dealing with at these school board meetings. 1819 really stepped up on that story too, to give it clarity and balance, and we needed that. If there's anything that's good about the internet nowadays, is a little bit of democratization. Um, you don't have, for example, AL.com having the one dimensional presentation that they have in a lot of their coverage. Not all their coverage, but some of their coverage is so clearly that way. At least you get some balance. Y'all can read both. I mean, and figure out what you want to believe yourself. But if you want to read that story, April Marie, 1819 News, y'all check it out. Alabama Gold Refinery next up here on the show. I do appreciate being able to tell you all about a place to go and do these exchanges. Let me pull up gold. Since I was off last week, I hadn't tracked the markets like I typically do. I have a little app here where I can pull it up. And actually, if you go to Alabama Gold Refinery's website, you can pull up the tracking, the daily number on the gold and where it's trading. Man, it's back up to 52.60. It was up about a half point today. That makes sense considering a lot of money left the equities markets today. Sometimes it'll move into a gold position as a hedge. Maybe you ought to consider that too. That's what the people that know how to move money around, they'll do that in certain times. Gold has held its own throughout human history. In other words, it's crazy, and Steve can explain this better than me over at AGR, but an ounce of gold will still buy you the same thing now as it would have bought 2,000 years ago, relatively speaking. And it's just fascinating because it is a real tangible thing that is sort of the balance against all other man-made things. And it's pretty fascinating history. The good thing about AGR is it's a fair place and a safe place to take your things and either get rid of your scrap or your collection for cash and do it in a very professional and honest and safe way, or take your cash in and start buying and securing some of these items. Silver has been on percentage-wise an even bigger run. It's a little more affordable to start collecting silver if you want to. I mean, they do all that. They do gold, silver, platinum. They buy, sell, or trade. So again, a central location over in Homewood across from the Regions Bank, a secure location because Steve's done everything right. And once you get to know him, he is such an energetic person that knows his stuff, very passionate about what he does. You'll have your place to do these kind of exchanges. If you haven't done it by now, go see him. It's AGR, Alabama Gold Refinery, alabamagoldrefinery.com. All right, y'all, 10 minutes before the hour. We got to get on out of here. Mandu bringing you the show tonight. I've been talking to you about your New Year's resolutions. A lot of people give up by now, and that's largely, we're all kind of the same that way. You're not getting results, and you get sort of burnout on it, and dieting is hard. Going to the gym's even harder, having to stand in line, get dressed, drive all the way there, deal with the other people. I just found it to be a grind back in the day, and I just quit going to big gyms. Plus, I don't need tennis courts and swimming pools and all that for the way I train at this age. Mandu fits a niche in a lot of ways because you get better results quicker. It's even a quicker workout. It's so efficient. It's electronic muscle stimulation. So they're going to put you in a suit. It's got electrodes in it, and they wet it down to make sure the contacts are good. It sounds kind of crazy, and it feels kind of crazy when you first do it. But you go through your paces. It's really stretches and sort of movements. And as you move, the suit itself gives your muscle the deep tissue stimulation that mimics lifting a weight or pulling on a cable, but without the stress or strain on your joints and muscles. It's so intense. And by the way, it's a full body workout in 15 minutes. You can only do it for 15 minutes. And then you can't really come back every day. You got to spread it out. And you feel it. I mean, you feel it all over, and it feels good. It's that good kind of feeling where things are happening. I watched Andrew McLean just go through a metamorphosis once he got going on it. And in my experience, when the workout's working well, I don't want to screw it up on the diet. Even though tonight I am going to throw down on some key lime pie. Every now and then you can do that. But when you're feeling good and you're feeling like you're making progress, and it's not just about the scale. They actually weigh you at Mandu. And they've got this scale that measures your body density, and it can tell you about your health, the body fat around your heart, your visceral fat, all these things that you need to know. And they'll actually track that for you. You can weigh in when you come. They keep a database of that and then process it that way. Y'all, this is a different way to look at it. And I think you should consider it, especially if you've failed at some of these other things. It's called Mandu, MANDUU. Mandu.com, Mandu.com. Y'all check them out. Over in Homewood, again, the best thing to do is get online and sign up for one of the groups or one of the sessions, and you can do it for free on your first visit. And then go see it for yourself. Fill out all the medical forms, make sure you're eligible, Mandu.com. All right, man, I'm going through all my stories today. Make sure I hadn't skipped anything because we had stuff coming at us. I'm still fascinated with this hidden Epstein file story. New York Post reporting that Epstein may have stored some compromising material in storage lockers all around the country before he was offed. And I'm going to say it that way because I do feel like something nefarious happened to him that night. Maybe it was an insurance policy. Maybe it was because they had to hastily clean that place out when the feds started sniffing around. And he didn't just want to get rid of it because he probably thought he was going to get away with it, get another slap on the wrist, get out of prison, and be able to use that material down the road. That material is what gave him power. You think about it. This guy had control of Bill Gates. He had control of Bill Clinton. Even though the Clintons want to testify that they didn't have any relationship with him, Ghislaine Maxwell was at their wedding, their daughter's wedding. Epstein started the Clinton Foundation with them. He's the one that got it going, gave him the idea of how to money launder that way. Oh, yeah. When that hearing does come up, and isn't it this week? I think it's this week. That ought to be good. I wish it was televised and live like a normal people, but for some reason, the Clintons get a pass. The bottom line is, my theory is Epstein knew the value of the information he had built on these powerful people, and he hid it. Instead of just destroying it when he cleaned out that little island down there, it would not surprise me that he tucked it away in some anonymous places. As long as somebody is paying the storage unit bill. Hey, you remember that TV show where people could go bid on storage units and you didn't know what was in it?
Storage Wars, yes.
Yeah. Did you ever watch that? I never really watched it.
Oh, I love that show. It got kind of redundant and stupid towards the end, but yeah, I used to love it.
What if you bought the Epstein file storage unit?
Oh man, that'd be kind of a sticky situation.
You thinking you're gonna get stacks of gold or
right?
73 Corvette's going to be in there, and you open it up, it's a bunch of compromising material on politicians.
Oh, that's gonna be worth a lot of money.
It's worth more than a Corvette.
Yeah.
But then how do you cash in on it?
Yeah, so like, do they have like a professional? It's almost like Pawn Stars. Do they have like a professional that deals with very classified information? Like, is there an expert with that?
They could get the guy on Pawn Stars to come help him broker all that
Well,
stuff.
if you look at this,
Rick Harrison.
Oh my God, this is an exclusive Epstein file picture. If you look right there, you'll see the backside of. Yes, I've seen a lot of butts before, but that looks like Mr. Bill Clinton right there. And
that's I can't do Clinton. The best I can do is Bill Gates. We can compromise him. I don't want to go after Clinton. He was the president, but I'll give you Bill Gates and a couple of Trump officials. How about that? Give me the material. I'll hand those guys over. That's the way Harrison would play it.
Right.
Wait a minute. I'm going to need a saggy ass expert. I'm going to have to reach out. If you'll hold on a minute, I'll call him and he'll come right over here. He's just standing out on the street. And then that guy with the straw hat that looks like a forest ranger comes in and he knows everything. Why, if you count the rings on the saggy ass, you can tell that ass is about 75. That would make him closer to Bill Clinton than Bill Gates in that photograph.
Well, okay, so I get, about this, but one question has always been kind of puzzling me. Who was the person taking all these pictures?
That's right. And okay, why would Clinton just be there in the hot tub? Someone's like, smile.
Right.
Like, okay. All right, then. I'm good.
Like, who's the picture taker?
What happens at Epstein Island stays at Epstein Island, right? You ain't going to share this, are you? I think he made them feel so secure and so pampered that it didn't dawn on them they were being, which is the whole point of an operation like that.
And now it's everywhere and act like they don't want to be in front of the camera when some random stranger just walks up to them like, hey, let me ask you a question. Let me talk to you for a second. But you all up on camera doing things that you're not supposed to be doing.
There's just, look, that is how it would work. He put on such a presentation of wealth and power. This guy couldn't be bad, could he?
Right.
Except for the eating kids part. That's a whole nother angle on this. I can't figure out how they ever got there, but whatever. All right. It's been a news day, hasn't it, for a Monday? We've already gone through a lot of stuff. One more time for Lonnie's Furniture Company. They're right there on I-65 off exit 280. I say it that way intentionally. So you don't think I'm saying 280. People will picture Highway 280. That's not where they are. They're in Kimberly, Alabama, a little small town. Y'all, the building is an acre large. There's more selection there you're going to find anywhere in our state, maybe most of Georgia and Mississippi too. That's why people come from over there to see this store. The deals are always there. And then every now and then Reggie will call me with some lazy boy deals or some discount deals on this or that because they've got a big truckload. But every single day, there are everyday deals based on the quality of that stuff. And then the custom ordering. You can build your own furniture there. They can custom order anything you want. If you've got an idea of something, they'll make it happen for you. They're so resourceful. High-end stuff like the Stressless line, everyday stuff, outdoor stuff, bedding stuff. One of my favorite parts of Lonnie's, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, is how many customer compliments I get from this audience over all these years. People constantly will reach out just to show me the deal they got or show me the truckload that they bought because they're proud of their score. I love that. Y'all, it's Lonnie's Furniture Company. Y'all go see them. Low pressure, great prices, beautiful stuff, good selection. It's everything you want. One stop, too. Everything's there in one stop. Lonnie'sFurnitureCompany.com. We will see y'all tomorrow. Stay tuned for Breaking Bread.
Appreciate that. Goodbye, AJ.